Live from New Orleans, Louisiana, inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, it's the 2019 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Front Classic, presented by the New Orleans Saints. We wrap up our full day of coverage with the Class 3A championship game between the 23rd seeded Jennings Bulldogs and the top seeded St. James Wildcats. Hello, everyone. Jeff Lerma along with former LSU Tiger Greg Bowser. What a matchup here for the St. James Wildcats. They are looking for their first state championship in 40 years. They are a perfect 14-0. Meanwhile, Jennings, they got 5 losses on the season, but they have defeated 4 teams that were seeded in the top 10 in the 3A playoffs. So this is a good football team coming into the Dome tonight.
Well, they're well tested. You know they're going to stay in the ball game with you. They're really going to fight to hang in there and run the football. So I think it's going to be exciting. They have a chance to pull off another big one.
Yeah, they certainly do. And a big reason why is because of their starting quarterback, Bub Wilridge. Now, in a split-back veer offense, you don't normally throw the football, but they will throw the football with him.
Yeah, they'll throw the football. And once you get out of split veer, when you run that dive, which is what you have to stop first, it's kind of a triple option. You stop the dive, and all of a sudden you get defensive backs cheating up to the line of scrimmage, and there's a receiver running wide open, and they pull it and throw it down the field and get a big play on you.
St. James also has a great quarterback. He is committed to Texas San Antonio, Shamar Smith. He's been outstanding in this playoff run.
Well, he's been consistent, and that's the big thing you got to have from the quarterback position. Not turning it over and making plays, forcing the defense to do things on the corner of the defense. So look at the outside, see if he can get out there and make some big plays.
And then their running back, he's committed to Navy. Sean LaBeouf has put up some big yards this season.
Well, Sean LaBeouf's a good inside runner. He's strong enough to hang on there in long games. I think they're going to be really good to get him running. If they get him off first, they'll be in good shape.
So will the Jennings Bulldogs have to return the glass slipper at Cinderella, or can St. James finally win that state championship they've been looking for the last 40 years? We'll find out. Kickoff coming up next on Cox Sports Television. Be decided tonight. The Jennings Bulldogs, the number 23 seed, 5 losses during the regular season, a rugged road to the Superdome to get to the state championship game. Meanwhile, for St. James, they are trying to go 15-0 on the season and win their first state championship since 1979. For more on the Wildcats, down to the field and the third member of our broadcast crew, Carly McCord.
Guys, good to be with you all. Well, St. James, when they lost in the second round of the playoffs last year, they said they never wanted to feel that pain again. Having something so close in reach and having it ripped away from them was not anything that they wanted to experience. So they motivated themselves by hanging a photo of Superdome in the locker room, that they could see it every single day and instill it in their minds that their season was not going to end anywhere except here in New Orleans. Obviously, it worked, guys.
Yeah, there's a shot inside the St. James locker room with that picture of the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Great motivation for this team. And as they are trying to win their first state championship in 40 years, Coach Valdez has been a head coach for 13 seasons overall. He's won 111 games. He has led a team before to the state championship game. That was West St. John, who finished up as the Class 2A runners-up in 2011. He's also coached at Scotlandville before coming back to St. James. And then the head coach for the Jennings Bulldogs. He's been there a long time, 25 years as the head coach. Rusty Phelps, the Winfield native, has won 198 games. They've been to the semifinals before, but it's been a long time since they've been to the state championship game. In fact, 1992, when they beat Cecilia to claim the Class 3A title. And look at the road to the Dome for the Bulldogs, beating 4 teams that were seated in the top 10, starting with Carroll in the first game. That was their blowout victory, 34-27. After that, it was a bunch of nail-biters, beating 7-seeded Church Point 14-13. A bobbled snap on the extra point was the difference there. Beating Sterlington in the quarterfinals. They stopped Sterlington on a 2-point conversion with 11 seconds left, and then beating McDonough 35 in New Orleans last week. The difference, a missed extra point in the first quarter. Now let's take a look at how the Wildcats got here. After going undefeated in the regular season, they shut out Mansfield 28-0, then beat Green Oaks 41-8 as Sean LaBeouf had 3 touchdowns in that one. LaBeouf rushed for 202 yards as the Wildcats beat Bruley in the quarterfinals 32-13. And then in the semifinals, for the first time this year, St. James trailed in the second half, but they came back to beat Union Parish 25-14. Now let's take a look at our keys to victory for these two teams. Greg, give us an idea what St. James needs to do to win, and then, of course, Jennings to pull off the upset.
Well, let's start with Jennings. I think they've got to, they've got to settle down the nervous. Their coaches were worried about them being a little nervous, and then they've got to, really get after it and be their best. You look at St. James, control the line of scrimmage. If St. James can do this, if they can control that line of scrimmage, you're going to see a running attack, and you'll see that Jennings won't have very many touches of the football. And I think finally they just got to finish. I mean, 15-0, you just got to do it. The pressure builds over time, and now it's time to get it done.
Ian Mullen with the kickoff. That's a live ball down there. That's an opening kickoff by Cox. Jennings might fall on this one. What a big play for the Bulldogs if they recover it, and they do. Jennings comes away with it. Caleb Laverne with the big recovery, and a special teams play comes up big for the Jennings Bulldogs.
Yeah, that settles the nerves. I mean, you get an onside, get a turnover on the kickoff, and you're in good field position. You're in scoring range. Now the big thing for Jennings, you got to get the ball in the end zone. It's just a little pooch punch. You don't kick it deep. You kick it to somebody who's not accustomed to handling kicks. And what do? They get a little nervous, and they fumble the football away.
Boy, that ball really took an interesting left turn there, and it died there, and it was too difficult for St. James to come up with it. Bulldogs in excellent field position at the 14-yard line. Their quarterback again, Bub Willridge. They hand it off, as that was Jalen Lewis on the carry. You look at Bub Willridge's numbers, 1,700 yards passing. He spent the summer throwing the football with these wide receivers, and it has paid off. 25 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions. 3-yard run by Jalen Lewis to start this drive off. Willridge keeps it off the right end, and he gets a couple of yards. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for the Jennings Bulldogs, brought to you by Pepware. Jennings averaging 30 points a game. Tight-knit group on the offensive line. Brock Gaspard is a 4-year program guy. Marlon Berry, 200 pounds. Ethan Trahan is 245. And then the skill position players, Jacorian Palfrey, almost 700 yards receiving on the season. Trevor Etienne, yes, that is the younger brother of Travis Etienne. And then, of course, Jalen Lewis. 3rd down and 4 for Jennings. They can't let this opportunity go by without them scoring a touchdown. Here's the pitch. Now, good hard run there by Lewis into the end zone. Touchdown, Jennings. Wow, Jalen Lewis would not be denied. 8-yard run.
This is just all Jalen Lewis. First of all, I think the pitch comes a little early. You've got to hang on to it a little longer if you're the quarterback and make the defensive men make a decision. Watch what happened to Willridge here. He doesn't make him make a decision. He pitches it too early, but still, look at the drive. He should have been down about the 4-yard line.
I thought Corey Esther was going to bring him down right at the line of scrimmage. I totally underestimated the strength of Jalen Lewis. That was a hard run by the junior running back. The guy's only 160 pounds, but he ran like a 230-pounder through there.
It's a good job of running, just running behind his shoulder pads. One man would not bring him down.
Now the extra point. Ian Mullen, a good kicker for him. He's 50 of 59 on extra points. And that is right through the uprights. How about the Jennings Bulldogs? Cinderella alive and well in the Superdome. 7-0. Here's the kick again, Greg. Again, look at this turn. Look at this bounce.
Yeah, and it's a kick. You kick it to a spot where the guys who are receiving are not accustomed to receiving the ball. Indecision. They think somebody else is going to get it. Doesn't realize it's a live ball. And then here's that dive. You fake the dive, the pitch, and this is just all Lewis. He's just driving, and determination to get in the end zone.
So Jennings will kick it back off. 3 plays, 14 yards. And in a game where Jennings is the underdog, You got to take advantage of opportunities like that. Getting the ball in your opponent's red zone, they needed to punch that in, and that's exactly what they did. So Ian Mullen has it set to kick off. Now, St. James, they're configured a little bit differently now. They're going to try to make sure they don't allow any ball to hit the ground. Take a weird hop.
Yeah, they got guys who are accustomed to handling the football up in position to make the catch.
Kick it deep to the 8-yard line. Shamar Smith on the return, and he's a dangerous return man. And he brings it up to the 28-yard line.
The thing about Shamar Smith is quarterback, not a big guy, but very shifty, very tough to bring down in the open field. And that's what they want to do, is get him out there where he can really make things happen with the football. Not a bad passer. You can see he's completing almost 56% of his passes, so not bad. And the big number I like is only 4 interceptions to 15 touchdowns.
Yeah, that is very impressive for Shamar Smith. UTSA commitment. He's been really good in the postseason. He's thrown for nearly 500 yards.
Dead ball foul. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 23 on that receiving team. Be 15 yards, half the distance to the goal. Be first down.
Carlos Price guilty of the penalty, and St. James, they need to take a deep breath here and settle down, Greg.
Yeah, just another mistake right off the top, hurting yourself here. You're putting your offense in a hole. Now you're backed up inside your own 15.
So the battle-tested quarterback for the Wildcats lined up in the shotgun formation from the 13. They get it out into the flat. Logan Gravois broke one tackle, but not the second. Thrown down at the 21-yard line. Let's take a look at your starting lineups. And there's another flag on the field. How about that? Looks like maybe a face mask going to be called on Jennings.
Yeah, I think they may get him with a face mask. That'll tack on 15 from the end of the run.
Personal foul, face mask, number 40 on the white team. Their first down.
Been a busy night for a referee early on, Phil Gordon.
Yeah, so you got a bit of a face mask. You see clear, got the right hand up underneath the face. Now he grabbed the helmet.
That moves the ball up to the 36-yard line. Our officiating crew from the Shreveport Officials Association. That was a 7-yard run, and now running the football is LaBeouf. LaBeouf angled out of bounds at the 45. Let's look at the Pepware starting lineups for St. James, averaging 36 points a game. Jaquan Jones is on that offensive line for them. He's a 2-year starter. DeAndre Keller has an offer from Nichols. Donald Nelson, number 60, missed all of last year with a chipped kneecap. He's been solid this year. And then Sean LaBeouf, Shaz Preston, got to keep an eye on him. 12 catches last week in the semifinal win over Union Parish. Good job by the offensive line there. Plenty of running room for LaBeouf to the 44-yard line. Let's look at the Bulldogs starters. They're giving up 26 points a game. Only 3 starters back from last year. One of those guys is Kai Carey. He certainly brings a lot of energy to the field. Big guy in the middle, number 99, Keenan Landry. He's 315 pounds. You get a look at him right there. And then Colby Estes, Jacob Cooper, 2 really good linebackers. And in the secondary, Demarion Simone has 4 interceptions on the year, and he's brought 1 back for a touchdown. At the 43-yard line for St. James, out of their spread package, quick pass. Logan Gravois moving upfield to the 30-yard line. Another first down for St. James.
Number 3, Shamar Smith's pass complete.
That's just another one of those RPOs. Just got to take it inside and throw the stop route. Picked up 13 yards.
15,
Colby Estes on the tackle, as I mentioned, 82 tackles for him, 83 tackles for Cooper. Logan Gravois, you look at the numbers for him. He is no longer unlucky. He's got a couple more catches to get off number 13. There's a nice fake and a run by Shamar Smith. 4.4 speed, high football IQ. Talented player last week, big game, 213 yards passing, 61 yards rushing. He'll probably be a receiver in college, and he is still committed to UTSA, even though Frank Wilson, New Orleans native, has been fired there as the head coach.
Smith does a good job with the football. If you watch this young man handle the ball, you know, he's doing that zone read. He's got to read the lineman up front.
Another pass out into the flat, coming back to get it, and then breaking a few tackles all the way close to the 10. That's Caden Williams. 10 catches for him. And he's had a few catches in the postseason, 3. That's a 15-yard pickup.
This is probably the most team speed we've seen on the field so far. When you look at St. James, I mean, you look at the acceleration right there.
And when you're trying to go up against this St. James offense, you really have to defend the whole field. They really spread you out, and then they bring LaBeouf. But LaBeouf banging his way down to the 1-yard line.
You've got threats all over the place. You don't want the quarterback to handle it because of his speed and ability, but then you got a guy like LaBeouf. He gets the ball in his hands, and he makes a big game.
443 yards rushing in the postseason. Got 10 more right there. First and goal. Inside the 1. Shen Joseph comes out of the game. Pistol kind of formation here with Smith to LaBeouf. It's easy. Touchdown. 18 touchdowns on the season now for Sean LaBeouf, the Navy commitment.
You know, I can see why what Jennings wanted to do, an onside kick or try to get the ball to start the first half. You give it to the St. James offense, and it doesn't take them long. I mean, they just zoom down the field.
Yeah, that was pretty easy there for St. James.
Remember, this drive started after they were penalized 15 yards for an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Got a little help on the 15-yard penalty face mask on Jennings. Can't give these guys any free yards. They'll take advantage of it. And now here is Alec Supertoe Mahler. And he got it through. Drifted a little bit on him, but good enough as you take a look at Sean LaBeouf, who has been scoring a bunch of touchdowns here in the postseason. That's 7 for him. And we're all tied up at 7. There's a look at Sean LaBeouf. His father, Elmo, is a running backs coach, showing off the Navy gloves. That's where he's going. But his father, Elmo, was on that 1979 state championship team for St. James. And now has a chance to watch his son win it with him being the running backs coach. Special relationship those two have. LaBeouf along with Shaz Preston. Preston, a big-time wide receiver from St. James, who's got an offer from LSU. So let's see if Jennings can go 80 yards. Greg, we saw them, they went, what, 18 yards for their first scoring drive. This one will be a little bit harder. Running out of the split back veer. Averaged 295 yards on the ground in the regular season, but they threw it for 190. That's what makes them a little bit different. Not so much a run-oriented team as Trevor Etienne on the carry. That is the, as I mentioned, the younger brother of Travis Etienne, the ACC Player of the Year for Clemson, Offensive Player of the Year.
Well, once again, the problem with the split back veer, it's fine as long as you're competitive and the game is close. But if you end up getting down 2 to 3 scores, it makes it difficult then for you to come back. So Jennings has to stay within reach. They've got to keep up the tempo and not let St. James run away from them.
Running, getting tripped up at the line of scrimmage, and only a couple for Jalen Lewis. Let's take a look at that Wildcats defense starting lineup. They run a 3-3-5 stack, averaging or allowing just 9 points a game. They got 44 sacks on the season. Savion Jones has 13 of them. He's a junior who has an offer from LSU. The linebackers are awesome. Caleb Brown and Lamont Lewis, those guys are all-state players there. And in the defensive secondary, Brad Baptiste, he's got 8 interceptions on the season. Joe Cooper's got 4 ball hawks back there. This is a similar play to how they scored a touchdown. They don't get the first down that time. Jalen Lewis brought down a yard or 2 shy of the first down, and I would imagine They will punt the football. Rusty Phelps, I don't think will try it. 4th down and a yard. Let's take a look at it again.
Well, it's good defense. Watch how many black shirts are running to the football. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a lot of guys around the ball. You know, you can't run east and west on these guys because they're just too fast. You've got to hit the line of scrimmage and get it going. Surprisingly, Jennings going to go for it on 4th down and short, back inside their own 30.
Will they just try to get St. James to come off sides and quickly call timeout? Well, they never really even had a chance to do the hard count just because they got to the line of scrimmage so late there, Greg. They couldn't really try to bark out the signals loud to draw them off sides. Let's take a look at some of the storylines involving this Bulldog team and their head coach, Rusty Phelps. Again, the 4 playoff wins by a total of 10 points, winning their last 3 games by 1 point. Looking for their 3rd state title. They also won in 1939. And the number 23 seed, 2nd lowest in the history of the Prep Classic to get to the state championship game. When they won in 1992, their head coach, now ULM Warhawk head coach Matt Viator. They had a trio of all-state players on that team. Lawrence Nixon, who rushed for over 2,000 yards. Offensive lineman Sean Demerit, and also defensive tackle Chester Richard. So they will punt it on 4th and 1. And it's blocked. And now it will be the St. James Wildcats who will have great field position outside of the Jennings 30-yard line.
Well, the punter took just 1 step too many. You can't take that long when you've got a team with this kind of speed on it. You've got to get the ball out as quickly as you can. You watch the catch right here. See, he takes that extra step, which allows the defender to get in and block it.
Keyshawn Coleman blocked the punt. An athletic player.
Took the half step backwards and then an extra step forward, and he got it blocked.
So St. James will operate from the Jennings 31-yard line. Shamar Smith, 3 wide receivers to his left, LaBeouf to his right. Now LaBeouf motions out of the backfield, and here's Smith. He got hit hard right up the middle. Jacob Cooper, 5'10", 180-pound linebacker, 83 tackles on the season. A gain of just a yard for the senior QB for the Wildcats. St. James averaging 36 points a game. Their head coach, Robert Valdez, was a big Bill Walsh fan growing up. Former head coach of the 49ers in the NFL Hall of Fame. And so this offense does have some West Coast principles, which Bill Walsh was famous for. LaBeouf for a few, gets 3. Be about 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, what you can see from the St. James offense is you'll see the quarterback will have 2 or 3 options that he has to read quickly and then choose one. He's not going to let him hold the ball for a very long time. He's going to make a decision. If it's not there, he's going to take off and run it.
St. James last in the state championship game in 2015. That was a bitter pill to swallow because they lost to their parish rival Lutcher 41-14. Whistles before the snap. Timeout Jennings. They have used 2 now in this opening quarter.
Well, Jennings was forced to take a timeout that time because they had 12 guys on the field. They were late substituting and they couldn't get somebody off.
So for the Wildcats, the big storyline has not won a state title in 40 years. They beat Destrehan, who is in the 5A final. They'll be playing, Destrehan will be 24 hours from now against Acadiana in the 5A championship game. About holding 8 opponents to 8 points or less. And then Shamar Smith, big numbers this season with the 40 total touchdowns on the year. And for Coach Robert Valdez, he was a Southern Jaguar grad. He was a member of that 1993 Black College Football National Championship team that was coached by Pete Richardson, who's an offensive lineman on that squad, and graduated from O. Perry Walker in New Orleans, which now is Landry Walker High School. 3rd down and 7. Smith steps up, can't get away from the pressure. Outstanding job defensively getting there. Jaden Sumye, who's got 7.5 sacks, a sophomore, quick. And Smith loses a yard, and let's see what St. James decides to do on 4th and long.
Watch Sumye, he does a good job of just fighting through the block and not giving up on the play. Ball came out that time.
So they're going to bring Super Toe out there. Alec Mahler, who's been the starting kicker for St. James since the 8th grade. This is a 45-yard field goal try. Straight on for the sophomore. Does it have the distance?
He got it.
And he got it. Super Toe from 45. He's now 10 of 10 as a field goal kicker. And St. James has the lead in the 3A state championship. St. James leading the Jennings Bulldogs 10-7, 3:50 to go in the first quarter. Coverage of the 2019 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Prep Classic continues tomorrow. We have 3 more games for you. Tune in at noon, 3:30, and 7 as we are live from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome with the Class 1A, 4A, and 5A championship matchups live on CST, your leader in Gulf South sports. This kickoff will get into the end zone, a touchback, as Alec Mahler has a strong leg for a sophomore, and Coach Robert Valdez, along with former quarterback Lowell Narcisse, was sitting down by the field one day, and they saw this kid just booming these kicks, and they're like, who is this guy? It was Alec Mahler as a 7th grader. So Coach Valdez picks him up, takes him to the St. James has moved facilities now, moved schools, so he took him to the field that they play at now and just watched them continue to bang out kicks left and right. And at that time, Coach Valdez called Alec Mahler's mother and said, you know what? Your son needs to be my field goal kicker, but we'll wait till he's in the 8th grade. And there he is, just making a 45-yard field goal. He's 10 for 10 on field goals, Greg. That's unbelievable.
And he's got a couple more years to get stronger.
Not only is he Super Toe, he's got great hair, too. How do you do that? You got a great foot. You got great foot for a kicker, a great leg, and great hair to go with it. They're throwing, is it Jennings? And almost intercepted it and almost caught. Deflected out of there by Ja'Cory Esther, as running down the middle of the field was Travion Etienne.
Etienne was open. If the quarterback gets it a little deeper, he's got to catch, and he still almost catches it off the tip. Watch him. He's got the man beat. The safety comes over, but again, if that ball is out in front of him, that's 6 points.
So now it's a big 3rd down for Jennings. He got 3rd down and 7. St. James has scored 10 in a row after you scored the opening touchdown. Bulldogs 1 of 2 on down. 2-yard pickup for LaBeouf.
Game of 3, 2nd down and 7 at the 48.
LaBeouf's such a versatile player for St. James. Not only can he run the football out of the backfield, he can catch. He really is the guy that, I know all the focus is on Smith, but what LaBeouf can do really makes this offense go. But here's Shamar Smith. Smith across the 30. Foot kick.
He can throw it and do some of the quarterback things, but
yeah,
his athleticism is what really puts the pressure on the defense.
Quick throw here, and Gravois is tackled immediately. Demarion Simo there defensively.
Simo's going to come up and make the stop quickly, which will stop Gravois from getting the 1st down. Gravois did a good job of just pulling up in front of him, but no 1st down. Here's a 3rd down. This is a big 3rd down for Jennings. If you can stop him here and get the ball back in pretty good field position.
3rd and 2. LaBeouf to the left of Smith. Smith throw.
Obviously off to a good start if it's been handed out twice and not even halftime yet. But look at the detail. Wildcat, you got rhinestones, whole ordeal. I'm pretty sure this is real gold. I'm chain ganging over here.
There's Jupiter wearing it. I know what to get Carly for Christmas now. I've been thinking about it all day and it just popped in my head.
State championship rings from Herb Jones.
3rd down and 13.
Of the LHSAA.
We'll take a look at the halftime. We'll have a look at your first half highlights. Some of them will contain Shamar Smith. We'll have stats. Lee Burkeen from Louisiana Football Magazine will join us. Talk about some of the guys that are on the field and their recruiting prospects, and then also the ISC All-American team. So on 3rd and long, Smith winds up, delivers a deep ball, intercepted. Did he hang on to it?
He got
no,
it.
He did not. The referee is saying incomplete. He's right on it. Simone had a chance. That would have been his 5th pick of the year. But 4th down and long, we'll see what Valdez decides to do. Does he bring the punt team on, or I think I'd go for this almost.
That's a good job that time, just breaking underneath the football.
Man, he almost hangs on to this, Greg. Let's watch.
I don't know. Let's see if he catches it. No, I don't know. They might want to take another look at this.
I think they are.
Yeah.
I'm going to say incomplete, but I think it's worth a review just to give it another check. Again, instant replay here at the
previous
Prep Classic.
play is under review.
Now we had one review in the Class 2A state championship game, so this is the second one.
Yeah, we had
High school.
We had one that we thought was a slam dunk, and show you what we know. This thing might end up being a catch. I mean, let's see if the ground helps him catch the football. So he's got his left hand underneath the ball.
Man.
I think had it been ruled an interception, they would have had trouble
I just think
overturning
because
it.
the nose of the ball hits the ground the way it does.
But the ball doesn't bounce out.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see what happens. I think if they had called it a completion, they would not have overruled it.
Well, this is a quick review.
It's incomplete.
Ruling on the field is confirmed. It's an incomplete pass. 4th down.
All right, so they take a look at it. We'll take a look at it again.
Well, we see it. 4th down, and St. James, they're going to go for it.
But I think Simone's going to need to see a chiropractor after that uncomfortable landing.
Here's that formation again. You got double slots, and you got one back in the backfield. The back in the backfield is man-to-man, and he's
over the middle. It's caught. Is it enough for a first down?
No.
Oh, man. There's historic Canal Street with the streetcar going by. A Friday night in one of the greatest cities in the world, New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans, Louisiana, 31-7. St. James leading Jennings. 1:17 left. And Shamar Smith, one of the top quarterbacks in the state of Louisiana, putting on a show. Mahler ready to boot another one into the end zone as you look at the scoring drive.
Number 9, Alexander, kicking off for St. James.
Man, when the ball hits his foot, you can hear that boom. Am I talking too much about the kicker, Greg?
That's 31-7, Jeff.
I like the shoes, too, the fluorescent shoes.
Well, if you're going to wear fluorescent shoes, you better be a very good player.
Yeah.
If he kicks the ball like that, he can wear whatever color shoes he wants.
Thinking about it now, you know, Cade York's got 3 more years at LSU. Mahler's got 2 more years at St. James.
Well, but the big question is, will he have that hair when he gets to be a senior?
Oh, ball on the ground in the backfield, but Jennings and ball bounces back up to him. Bub Wilridge. That would have been devastating for Jennings if it isn't already bad enough.
This is the tough offense that Jennings runs to try to come back. Yeah. I think you just try to kneel on it and get out of here. Get out of the first half. You get the ball first to start the second half.
Yeah. And they are not in a hurry right now.
LHSAA sends a special thank you.
Coach Phelps, his team jumped out to the 7-0 lead. They got the fortunate bounce on the opening kickoff that they were able to recover it. They needed a lot more breaks, though, to stay in this one. There's a good hard run from Jalen Lewis.
That's it. They should be able to run the clock out with that first down.
They'll stop the clock for a second to reset the chains.
They don't have to snap it again if they want to run the clock out. They just let it go.
A 12-yard run for Lewis. He's cracked off a couple double-digit runs, and I think Jennings will just head into the locker room. They haven't even started the play clock, the game clock. 12 seconds and counting. Let's see if they run one more play. Looks like they want to run one more play. And they're going to try to throw it and see if something could happen, and it's just disaster. Wilridge gets taken to the turf hard. Bryson Mathern, his 4th sack of the season, a loss of 7. And that's how the first half ends for the Jennings Bulldogs. But for the St. James Wildcats, in search of a state championship over the last 40 years, they go into the locker room, floating into the locker room. They're feeling so good at this point, 31-7. And let's send it down to the field. Carly McCord.
Outstanding plays in all 3 phases of the game. Coach, talk about how your team is playing with a championship mentality.
Well, we made a mental lapse on the opening kickoff, and allowed them to get that touchdown. In games like this, the emotions are so high early. I'm just glad the way we settled down and we're able to play, our type of football. So, when we go in the locker room, we're going to talk about it, and we just got to maintain our aggressive nature and just finish the deal.
Coach, I got to ask you about your kicker, Alec Mahler. 45-yard field goal, only a sophomore, and has great hair, not to mention that as well. What is it like to have a weapon like him and him be utilized so early on? It's fantastic because, it completes you in all phases, and now the other team has to coach against that because, offense, defense, and special teams, he gives us an ability on kickoffs, on punt, on field goal extra points, so that's a major plus, and he's only a sophomore. That's a good thing about him. It's all in the hair, right? The hair is the hair. Thank you. Coach, good luck. Thanks, guys. I'll send it back to you.
All right. See, he's talking about the kicker too, Greg.
You noticed the hair, Jeff. This is a guy who doesn't have hair. You haven't noticed the hair.
Oh, what a first half for the St. James Wildcats. 24 minutes away from a state championship. They're up by 24, and we'll be back after this. Holiday season in City Park, and the St. James Wildcats leading the Jennings Bulldogs at halftime, 31-7 in the Class 3A state championship game. Glad you can join us from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Jeff Palermo, along with the publisher for Louisiana Football Magazine and also the host of Louisiana Football Television Show on Cox 4, Lee Brakeem. And what an impressive first half there from the St. James Wildcats. They have so many Division I prospects. Their speed, their athleticism, their talent really took over in those first 24 minutes.
I mean, what a player Shamar Smith is, right? I know that y'all were talking about him the whole first half, but this kid can play SEC football, slot receiver, quarterback at a certain school, corner, returns kickoffs in the game. How many quarterbacks do that?
Not many.
And then they got Gleason at DN at 6'4", 230, a senior. He's D1. Their junior DN's more highly recruited than Gleason, and he's 6'5", 250.
Right.
Their safeties are SEC. How do you beat them? It's just tough.
It's tough. And how about on the offensive defensive lines, DeAndre Keller?
DeAndre Keller runs the 100 meters. I don't know if you knew this, Jeff.
I did not know that.
He runs an 11 flat at 275.
Wow.
He came on our show, and I said, you got to be kidding me. And Coach is like, no. I was at the meets. He's running the 100 meters for us.
There's a look at some of the other St. James players. Tyler Steve, he's a good one too.
Yes.
And Donald Nelson, another guy who was hurt all of last year.
I mean, this is a 5A team with 5A talent, but they're 3A level. And Nelson's only 6'4", 290, running a 5'1", 40. Steve's an SEC DB. They have a sophomore, Preston, at wideout, who's going to be a national recruit.
Yes, he will.
And look, Jennings is fighting. Trevor Etienne is a really good player. He hadn't got into his groove yet. A lot of that is St. James's speed, but I think Trevor Etienne's going to be as good as his brother, who's at Clemson. It's not a popular word here in Louisiana, but hey, the kid Etienne's had a great career at Clemson. Trevor's only a sophomore.
And then there's Keenan Landry, too, on the defensive line for Jennings. He's another sophomore, junior, underclassman. Looks like he's going to be a big-time recruit.
He was offered by LSU and Alabama as a freshman. That means after spring ball, they offered him before his first game as a freshman. He's 315, as you know, 6'1", junior, played nose guard. Looks like a Rashard Lawrence, can play a little DN.
Yes, he does. He certainly does. Tomorrow we got another big day of football, Lee, with 3 games. Let's look at that 1A game. We're talking 1A football, but Oak Grove,
yes,
they can produce some D1 prospects, can't they?
How many small schools have 2 300-pound nose guards that run 5 flat 40s, and they're 6'3", 6'4"? Keenan Caldwell's committed to Kansas, and Les Miles, he's lost 50 pounds. He's quicker. Otis Moore was MVP 1 year here for Oak Grove. He's a phenomenal player. And then White Castle, Javier Baptiste, phenomenal football player, similar to Shamar Smith tonight with St. James.
Well, that should be a good game, and then we'll have 3 more for you. You got Carr, Warren, Easton. Carr and Warren, Easton.
The track meet.
There'll be a track meet, a bunch of players there, and then Acadiana Destrehan will be our final game of the night. We are at halftime. Thanks a lot, Lee. We appreciate it. More of Lee Brakeem. Check him out at LouisianaFootballMagazine.com. When we come back, we'll take a look at our first half highlights. St. James up by 20. 31-7 is our score. St. James leading Jennings. Well, it was an impressive first half from the St. James Wildcats. Jeff Palermo along with Greg Bowser. 31-7 is the score. Jennings scored first, Greg, but St. James, just too much talent, too much athleticism, speed, power, they got it all.
Well, we saw Jennings come out and kick a kind of a sky kick and get the football back. And part of the reason for that was because they knew the capabilities of this St. James football team. This is a little kick here, dribbles out, and Jennings does a good job. They recover it, and now you've got to score. You've got the ball back. Everything's going in your favor. So what do? Come out, run the option. And this is just sure determination to get into the end zone. Good run by Jennings, but St. James, you know they're going to score. They've got weapons all over the place. They're going to move the football. Great play on the inside here, and then the quarterback makes all the decisions, but hey, running back's not bad. Not a bad play. So this St. James offense, all of a sudden, it starts clicking, and then on special teams, they come in, make a big play, block a punt, and then there's your guy, Super Toe. He hits a field goal. At this time, it's still a ball game. You're still in it if you're Jennings. But then this guy, Smith, you know, he's special with the football in his hands. Makes a big play, gets him down there, and walks in for a touchdown. Jeff, nobody can catch up to the guy. And he's got a lot of help. This time he catches him in a bad position defensively. Misses receiver on a quick slant, and nobody will catch this guy. These guys can really run. And then finally, Jamal Smith says, hey, everybody else is scoring. I need another touchdown. Let's put it in the end zone. That really stretches it out, and the ball game gets interesting at that point. You look at the statistics in the game. If you're Jennings, you know, total offense, 78 yards. But if you're St. James, 261 yards of total offense, 12 first downs to 5, no turnovers if you're St. James, and that's a big thing.
And then you look at that one big goose egg there for Jennings, 0 pass yards, and when you're down by 24 points, they're going to have to throw the ball a lot in the second half. They're going to need big pass plays.
Well, they're going to have to throw football, and one of the things when you're not accustomed to throwing the football and you get pressed to throw the ball, you make mistakes, you turn the ball over, and then all of a sudden the game really gets out of hand.
It's been 40 years since St. James has won a state championship. They are on the cusp of doing it tonight as they are leading big over the 23rd seeded Jennings Bulldogs. And the St. James band is also rocking the house inside the Superdome. It's a great night to be a Wildcat. We'll be back after this.
The 2019 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Prep Classic presented by the New Orleans Saints on Cox Sports Television is brought to you by the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Look at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. And then there's a look at Cafe Du Monde. Everyone enjoying a Friday night in the Big Easy. And now down to the field and Carly McCord. Carly?
I just caught up with Coach Phelps, and he told his team at halftime, he said, we got to start over right here. Overall, we just need to execute better, do better on third downs, and just go out there and play Jennings football. He said that everyone coming into this game says that they were the Cinderella team, but they still have the fight in them in order to prove that they are the real deal, hoping to do it here in the second half, guys.
They will get the ball to begin the second half. We'll see if they're able to make a run at it. We'll be back after this. When the water
The holidays on Canal Street in New Orleans, and we're not too far away from there inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. We will soon have the start of the second half of the Class 3A state championship game.
Beautiful picture he did.
Tough night for the Jennings Bulldogs. Waited so long, these fans, to get to the state championship game. 1992, when they went 14-1 and beat the Cecilia Bulldogs in the Class 3A state championship game. And this is a team that got off to a really rough start, starting the year 0-3, but they would not be denied. Kind of an interesting story in this Jennings team. This senior class, when they were freshmen, they did not score a touchdown in 8 games during their freshman season, but here they are in the state championship game, but it has not gone well for them tonight. That's because St. James is a superior team. And for more on the Wildcats, down to the field, Carly McCord.
Well, guys, this team is playing for a lot more than just the state championship. They're playing in memory of some legendary coaches in the program history. We're going to start with the unfortunate happenings. Obviously, they passed away, these two very memorable men. Rick Gailey, 19 years he was a coach at St. James. He won 3 championships while he was there. And obviously, his life ended in July 2018. And then a year later, 1979, Coach St. James Coach Wagasback, he was the one who brought the team to the state championship. He passed away just a year after that. Sorry, guys, these guys are running all behind me. Trying not to get run over here, but obviously they're playing for a lot more than a trophy and playing in a memory of some great legends as well.
Yeah, for James Wagasback, he was just inducted into the Louisiana High School Hall of Fame and then passed away in July. But that St. James team in 1979 went unbeaten, beating Waspin to win the state title. They won that game 14-5. So, and then James Wagasback also led Cecilia to a state championship in 1995. Bulldogs beat Carr that season 12-9. And for Coach Wagasback, he won 231 games in 32 years as a head coach. And then, as I mentioned, inducted into the Louisiana High School Sports Hall of Fame just this past year, and passed away over the summer. So been a tough year with that. And Coach Rick Gailey, two guys that I know St. James fans were wishing were here tonight. So today, this is the third of 3 games. Let's look back at so far what we've seen. All these games have been seen on Cox Sports Television. We had a great game last Friday over in Uptown. Brummel beating Catholic of Baton Rouge 14-10. Donovan Kaufman, the Vanderbilt commitment, had a huge fourth quarter to lead the Raiders to a state championship win over the Bears. And I saw it a couple times this week. Donovan Kaufman started getting more offers. I wonder why. He took it over in the fourth quarter. St. Thomas More, Caleb Holstein completed his great high school football career, 58-10. St. Thomas More will likely be back in the state championship game next year. They got a quarterback by the name of Walker Howard. And people are probably looking at these lopsided scores and saying the split between public and private is a part of this. But I will say this. St. James is a really terrific team, and if the number 2 seed was here tonight, Sterlington, I think St. James would be in control. St. Thomas More, the same with them as well. Those two in those particular brackets were head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah, I think the St. James team was seeing tonight. I mean, it's just too much speed and talent all over the field.
This season.
They did.
They beat Destrehan, a 5A team that's in the state championship game.
This is a team that you've got. It's a very special team. They got a lot of really good athletes, and you've got to play a certain kind of game,
right,
to be competitive with them. And you've got to be able to keep them, because you can't match them with athlete for athlete. You've got to keep the ball away from them. You got to do some things that Jennings had planned coming in, but a couple of mistakes, a blocked punt and some things like that, a busted coverage, and all of a sudden the game's getting out of hand.
Jamar Smith will be quarterback in his final half of high school football, and Coach Valdez with some words of encouragement to him in his ear. Mahler gets another one in the end zone. Bulldogs will take over at their own 20-yard line. Bub Wilridge and the Bulldogs started out leading this one 7-0, but
It went south for Jennings pretty quickly.
I think the Bulldogs, I think they've got to come out and establish something in this game. They've got to get something good going for them, get some positive vibe going, move the football, pick up a couple of first downs, and then I think the offense has a chance to be successful.
Big hit at the line of scrimmage coming up. Caleb Brown hitting Jalen Lewis.
Number 14,
gain of a couple.
Jalen Lewis on the carry.
Caleb Brown, a junior, he'll be back next season for St. James.
Second and 7 at the 23.
Another big win for the Wildcats this year is when they beat Assumption. The Mustangs went into that game undefeated, and St. James whooped them 35-7. Lewis got 3 on that last carry. Ball on the ground. This is going to be a scoop and score, maybe. Nope. Ball on the ground again, but I think he was down. It's still going to be St. James ball, first and goal at the 9. Big turnover as St. James just too good defensively.
Well, we talked about how fast they are, how quick they are, how good of an athlete they have. They've got almost every position. If you watch this play, watch the quarterback come down the line for the option. He's going to get hit from a guy just coming from the inside.
Yeah.
The linebacker's not supposed to be there. I mean, it's almost impossible to watch the linebacker just come off the block and make a hit.
Caleb Brown forces the fumble. Chase Geeson has had a terrific season. A senior, 14 sacks. He now gets to wear the turnover chain, and it's first and goal at the 9.
Chase Geeson, he was tackled by number 5, Trevor Etienne.
Trevor Etienne tackled Geeson before he got into the end zone. High snap to Smith. It floated to him. LaBeouf turns upfield. LaBeouf towards the end zone.
He's going to be down right at the 1-yard line. But you talk about an exceptional run. I mean, everything started out wrong with this play. You had a bad snap, you had a bad handle, you got people in the backfield, and LaBeouf just outruns all of them to the corner and then almost scores a touchdown.
That ball just floated to Shamar Smith. It seemed like it took forever to finally get to him. There is a flag on the play, and this might be against the Wildcats.
We have offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct. 14 black, 15 white. They're going to offset. Dead ball foul. It's going to be on the 1-yard line.
Logan Gravois and Colby Estes got tied up there. Take a look at the bottom left corner of your screen. There they are wrestling.
Always gets the second guy.
Yeah. LaBeouf in the end zone. Touchdown, St. James.
Too easy.
Yeah. Right up the gut. And it didn't take long for the Wildcats to score in the second half.
But Jennings planned to come out the first half and methodically try to get something going, and all of a sudden you turn it over, and 2 plays later, touchdown, St. James. And I think that it's just too many good athletes.
Great football team, the Saints, to wait 40 years to win a championship, Greg, and then have a team like this of just a star-studded group. You know, it wasn't too long ago. St. James had a winless season. You think about the talent that is, and I've said this before on numerous broadcasts. I don't think, as far as for an area of the country, there is more talent in the River Parishes football-wise than anywhere else in the United States. I really feel that way. And St. James a few years back had a winless season. Dwayne Jenkins, who's now the head coach at Lutcher, went to St. James and got that program back going again after Rick Gailey got kind of ran out of as the head coach, and the program really took a downward turn. Dwayne Jenkins got the program back up and going, got them in the state championship game against Lutcher. Now Coach Jenkins is at Lutcher. And here it is, St. James a few years later, since losing that state title game to Lutcher in 2015. Now they're on their way to winning a 3A title in 2019. I want to say that was 2012, 2013 when St. James had a winless season, which is just hard to fathom. As proud of a high school football community it is. Join Victor Howe, Gordy Ross. I think they can.
Yeah.
The way they're playing.
They're hot, man. That offense is rolling.
Now, championship game, I think it's going to be really close. Very close. Run up the middle there for a few yards. I know the storyline would be LSU Ohio State, but I kind of want to see them go up against Clemson. I think pound for pound, athlete versus athlete, I think those two teams have the best.
For Clemson?
Yes, Clemson. More so than Ohio State.
I think Ohio State's the better team.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think an Ohio State LSU matchup would be like watching two SEC teams play.
A couple of yards there. Third down, and Jennings just going to run their offense. This is kind of what we saw with Manny in the 2A game. They got down so far, they just decided, you know what, we're not going to try to do anything crazy. We're just going to run our offense, and whatever happens, happens. And
if we get a big play,
yeah,
so be it. If not, we just run the clock out here.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just try to make sure this thing doesn't get so lopsided that it gets way out of hand. It's blowout territory as it is. 3rd and 3. Running hard is Etienne.
I think the ball might have come loose now. He got the first down.
That was a hard fought first down for Etienne. Jennings has a good chance to get back to the state championship game next year. Bub Willowridge will be a senior. Etienne will be a junior. Jalen Lewis will be a senior. We really haven't talked much about their receivers, but Jacorian Palfrey has 9 touchdown catches on the season. He'll be a senior next year.
Got a lot of credit to the St. James defensive front. They're not giving up any ground at all.
Well, Coach Valdez told us this week he needs to come up with a nickname for his guys, especially on that front line. He just believes they are absolutely terrific on that defensive line. And there's Savion Jones. This kid picked up an offer from LSU this season. He's 6'5", 245 pounds. He also plays basketball. Monster in the weight room. Very fast off the ball. Pass a swing pass, and these are the first passing yards for the Jennings Bulldogs, and it nets a first down. And let's take a look at who's down on the St. James bench. How about Teddy Bridgewater? And they're doing the chop and stop. That's got to be a big thrill for those guys to hang out with Teddy.
That's a good thing the score is what it is, because none of those guys are paying any attention to this football game.
What? The young ball boy here is like, I'm going to get in on this as well. Teddy Bridgewater, a great person in the community. Fan favorite. Who can sit closer to Teddy Bridgewater? That's more of a contest right now.
Number 14.
Hey, you can take a look at the St. James sideline and bench. Nobody's watching the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the coach's huddle there, you know?
No. Teddy Bridgewater looks like he fits in well. Chatting with Tykeef Coleman. 2nd down and 8. Pitch. Etienne, nice little stop and go. Flag flies. Biggest offensive play of the night for the Bulldogs. Will it stand? Etienne's in the end zone for 56 yards, but let's see what the flag is all about.
I think this one's going to come back.
Sure seems that way. We'll hear from Phil Gordon, our referee.
Maybe a hold or a block in the back on one of the wide receivers.
Touchdown is good. We have a personal foul, face mask, number 15 on the defense.
Well, if you're Jennings, you say, man, we finally called a break.
The penalty will be administered on the kickoff.
So the 26th touchdown rushing for Etienne. This is a nice move, Greg.
Yeah, and then this is where he just accelerates. And there are guys that have the angle on him. You think that's going to run him down.
Yeah.
It's good speed. And again, you're playing against a team that has exceptional speed in St. James.
Extra point try coming up for Ian Mullen. High snap. Holder does a nice job getting it down. Bub Wilridge. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with that man. Saints quarterback Teddy Bridgewater. More of the 3A state 8-14. St. James leading Jennings midway through the third quarter. Down to the field, and Carly McCord.
Well, we ran into somebody familiar, Teddy Bridgewater here. Teddy, I was asking you off camera. I said, you know, it's a Friday night. Obviously, you could be doing a lot of things, and you're here with us in the Superdome. What made you want to come out and see St. James play Jennings?
Well, it's Friday night. I heard there's football going on in town. I'm a big fan of football, so I've been able to catch some high school games locally throughout the course of this season, and figured I'd come out and watch some of these guys compete for a state title.
And you rode your bike here.
Yes.
You said you parked it over there in the tunnel. Is that correct?
Yes, it's parked in the tunnel, the same place I park on Sundays.
Did anybody holler at you, wave at you while you were en route?
No, not tonight. I mean, the usual, the officers outside the dome, they stop me. And then I always have my hood on, the hat. Then once they realize it's me, oh, go ahead, man, you good.
Well, Teddy, be careful riding in the night. We need you to stay healthy. You're here. This is your house, your technical house here. But also, Miami Northwestern, that's where you went to high school. And I know that you got to visit not that long ago in the bye week. Talk about your high school days. Does this bring you back?
Yeah, it does. And my high school is actually getting ready to play for a state title tomorrow for a three-peat. And, just being able to come to games like these, it just, bring back so many memories. I was once in these guys' shoes, and, to be able to come and watch these guys compete, on the big stage, great feeling. It just knowing that, man, just a couple years ago I was in these guys' shoes, and now I'm living out my dream. So for me to be able to come back here and watch these guys compete, and just for those guys to be able to see me in the flesh and know that, hey, man, their dreams are within arm's reach, it just serves a big, it makes a huge impact in my life and in their lives as well.
I heard someone say not that long ago that it is absolutely 1,000% impossible to not love Teddy Bridgewater because of the character and who you are. And I know that you give a lot of credit to your parents, your mom, and what she was able to do in raising you. Just talk about how this city has embraced you and what you've been able to give to this city just with your character alone.
This is a city that has been through a lot, and no matter what it's going through, it's found a way to come out on top. And, when I think about my life, the way I was brought up and the things that I've been through a lot as well. I've managed to come out on top and continue to smile. So, I feel like, just being in this city was the perfect place for me to, mesh my personality, my upbringing with its culture. It's just been very beneficial for me.
Teddy, we appreciate you for your time. Happy holidays to you and your family. And go Saints on Monday. I'll get that win, okay? You guys, we'll go ahead and send it back to you.
Thanks a lot, Carly. Yeah, if everybody can be brought up like Teddy Bridgewater, I mean, that's what a person's supposed to be like, an athlete everybody looks up to, and hanging out here on a Friday night with the St. James Wildcats.
Yeah, come watch a little high school football.
Yeah. When you love football, though, it's try to watch as much of it as you can, especially in person. 3rd and 4. Shamar Smith. Quick pass, incomplete, and St. James will punt it away. So a 3-and-out turned by the Jennings defense.
Well, plenty of time in the third quarter.
Yeah, Jennings can figure out a way to score. Might get somewhat interesting.
Special thanks to the partners of the LHSAA.
What they need is a punt return for a touchdown.
That's what they need, you're right. Mahler's averaging 43 yards a punt.
Specialist, Lake Charles Memorial Sports Medicine and Rapides Regional Medical Center. Number 9, Alex Baylor, back to punt.
Good punt from the 34-yard line. And the return, and a flag comes flying in there by Connor Cassidy on the return. We'll take a break, tell you what the flag's all about when we come back. on 40-yard punt, then a block in the back, and Rusty Phelps' team will start from their own 30-yard line. We'll look at it right here. It's pretty obvious.
Pretty clear. Yeah.
Jaden Saunier committed the penalty. So from the 30-yard line, Jennings will look to try to score for a second straight drive, and they go back to pass. Willridge almost intercepted. Wildcats nearly get it off the deflection. Ja'Cory Esther almost picked it off. That would have been his 6th interception of the year.
Yeah, that ball should have been completed. You bring it down a little bit. He got him in stride. There's an open window to hit him in, and just missed.
And that's the star wide receiver that I was telling you about on the last drive for Jennings, who's been a little quiet in this game, but the play was there for Willridge. And again, Willridge has thrown for 1,700 yards. By far the best throwing quarterback Jennings has ever had. He replaced Cole Myers, who was there for a long time as the starting quarterback for the Bulldogs. Built some great chemistry with his receivers over the summer, and he'll have to build on that chemistry for Jennings to get back in the spot again next year.
A gain of 4, 3rd and 6 at the 34.
Compete for another 3A title. 3rd down and 6.
The LHSAA get your official souvenir merchandise of the 2019 Prep Classic available.
We'll see how much pressure St. James decides to come and put on the quarterback. Willridge, he's going to have to make a really good throw against this defense to pick this up.
One of the things Coach Phelps told us, they need to convert on these 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7s, get 10-yard completions. He had him wide open and he missed him.
Yeah, see, he needed a really good throw that time. He didn't get it.
Tanner East had broken wide open down in the middle of the field, and Willridge missed it.
He had him for 6. You watch this, just lay it out in front of him. He throws it high. He'll never get an easier throw.
No, he won't. No, he won't. Good job by the offensive line, giving him a alley to see. And man, was he wide open.
Yeah, he's got to throw that more at the numbers. If he just throws it for the numbers and lay it out there, let him go get it.
Willridge missed it.
He had him for 6. You watch this, just lay it out in front of him. He throws it high. He'll never get an easier throw.
No, he won't. No, he won't. Good job by the offensive line, giving him a alley to see. And man, was he wide open.
Yeah, he's got to throw that more at the numbers. If he just throws it for the numbers and lay it out there, let him go get it.
Noah Brosette had a punt blocked earlier in the game. One of the big plays for St. James, as they've done it on offense, defense, and special teams. Uh-oh, Shamar Smith got hammered. Wow.
Yeah, they're going to bring this one back. Yep.
Number 3, Shamar Smith on the return.
Stay connected with CST Online. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and visit our website, coxsportstv.com, for the latest sports news and information. Find out more about CST programming and check out our broadcast schedule. You can also watch exclusive videos on our YouTube channel. Log on today. That was a 32-yard punt. St. James will take over at the 37. So look at Smith. LaBeouf to the right of him. Pressure coming, they pick it up, and that's how you complete it over the middle. Shaz Preston, forget about it. Touchdown, Wildcats. 63 yards.
63 yards on the touchdown.
Well, that time Shaz Preston was able to split the safeties, and nobody got to the quarterback, and Smith found him. Just lay it out there, put it, just let him run under it, run into it. Never broke stride. Watch this play. I mean, there's no pressure on him. Just steps up, perfect pass. Similar to the one they scored on before, where the slot, you split the safeties, and there's nobody there. The defensive back has to keep that receiver out of the middle of the field. If you're going to play 2 safeties like that and have them run outside the hash, you can't let a receiver get inside of you if you're playing the corner.
Preston will finish the season with over 50 catches, over 800 yards. And the recruiting hype will really build for this young man, who will
only be a junior next season.
Watch him. You see there's nobody in the field. See what official is? There's nobody behind him. Once you let him get in there and catch it.
Great block by LaBeouf, and this guy, he's a big fan of Shaz Preston. And there's going to be a lot of people talking about this guy in the recruiting world.
There are going to be a lot of fans of Shaz Preston.
Yeah. Especially if he picks purple and gold in these parts.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of those shirts hanging around.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the party has started on the St. James sidelines, that's for sure. 40 years in the making, this state championship.
What are the odds of this one going in the end zone, Jeff?
I think it's going to end up in the end zone, unless a big gust of wind comes in here. How about this?
Just short.
At the 1 yard line. Supertel's getting tired. Kicking the ball. The return out to the 20. True fans watch together, celebrate together, and sometimes even witness history together. The Contour Sports app from Cox gets you closer to stats, scores, and schedules on your TV screen without missing a single play. Cox bringing us closer. 45-14. That return for Jennings was by Travion H.N. And now with the return at the 20, Jennings takes over again. You look at the iconic helmets for St. James.
I think this is what St. James, they'll get a chance now to play a lot of young kids.
Yes.
And this will help them down the road because those guys will have some experience in this kind of football game, in this atmosphere.
There's a lot of different new numbers out there. Jalen Lewis got 2 yards on that carry.
Jennings, on the other hand, this is a young football team.
Yeah.
They'll be back.
Yeah, when you start to take a look at it for next year in 3A, I mean, this could, Sterlington's always going to be in there. One up the middle here for a few yards. Union Parish is always a good team.
Number 5.
Up in North Louisiana, those were part of your teams that had made it at least through the quarterfinal round. But Jennings and St. James and Lutcher, this was a little bit of a down year for them, but you would imagine they're going to get things going here. As you look at some of these past, Eunice is played up to 4A this year. West Feliciana's been down a few years now. Eventually they'll get it going. And of course, Parkview Baptist and St. Charles Catholic, those teams now playing on the select side. Stephen LaFour's just completed his first season as the head coach of Parkview Baptist, and Etienne has another nice run up to the 39-yard line.
Etienne almost broke that out of there for a second.
How about this? You got Shaz Preston on one side of the field, a sophomore, and here's another one, an Etienne.
Gain of 13, first and 10.
Ja'Cory,
guys.
Yeah, Ja'Cory Esther got a hold of his foot to trip him up.
A lot of young talent.
You're right about that. At the 39-yard line. Bub Wilridge, right up the middle, nothing happened there. Savion Jones, another freak of an athlete for St. James, number 34.
Number 14,
6'5", 240 pounds.
Number 34.
And Coach Valdez. Beautiful night in New Orleans, and it's a great night for the St. James Wildcats. 12 minutes away from a state championship. One they haven't won since 1979 in football. Jeff Palermo, Greg Bowser, and Carly McCord down on the field. Shamar Smith still doing his thing, and Logan Grabwall still catching passes. As he gets to the 25-yard line, that was second down, so now it's going to be 3rd and 9. Remember, had the holding penalty in this drive. Jennings scored a touchdown to begin this football game, and then St. James took over from there, had a 24-point lead at halftime, 31-7. They scored a couple more touchdowns in the second half. So you look at Gravois. Coach Valdez compares him to one of those New England Patriot wide receivers that does an excellent job of just finding windows in the defense, sitting in there and catching passes and moving the chains. Bad snap, but Smith handles it. Smith feeling pressure, escapes it. Incomplete. Well, means St. James will have to punt the football away.
Number 14, local ground line. 4th down and
11:06 to go.
The Louisiana High School Athletic Association.
Back at it tomorrow at noon. 3 more state championship games. It'll all kick off with Oak Grove versus White Castle. The Tigers of Oak Grove all the way up in East Carroll Parish. Where's in West Carroll Parish? It's West Carroll Parish. Yeah. And then White Castle from Iberville.
Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Jerry BSN Sports, the New Orleans Saints, and Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
4th down and 8. This ball bouncing around out there. It's going to be a nice punt by Mahler. It's going to be down at the 19, down at the field, and Carly McCord.
Well, guys, we just keep meeting legends here on the field tonight. Well, Coach Rod is what you're known for, Don Rodrigue, right?
The whole state knows me as Coach Rod. It's Don Rodrigue, but everybody in the state, all the coaches and everything knows me as Coach Rod.
You were here with St. James for 17 years. You made 3 Dome appearances, never won any of them. What does it mean to see them up right now by so many?
Well, I went to the locker room during the week and talked to them because I live right by not far from the school. And I told them, I said, Coach Rod came 3 times. Y'all got to finish what Coach Gailey and I started, and y'all got to bring one back to the river. That's what we're hoping, and those guys are taking care of business tonight.
Our play-by-play commentator, Jeff Palermo, was talking earlier about how he truly believes that the River Parishes produce the best football talent in all of the country. Would you agree with that?
Well, I agree. It's our community and family thing. And, you know, your brother plays, your uncle plays, your daddy plays, your grandmother plays, grandfather plays, and they're all at the games, and you can't let them down. But that's what St. James is all about. It's the community that backs them. They're there all the time. And, you know, they just push them to be great, and that they are.
Obviously, you coached for over 40 years. What was the biggest thing that you learned coaching at St. James?
Well, it was like being a family. With Rick Gailey, he allowed you to coach, and he allowed you players to be great, and you just coach. And we never had to motivate them. The kids were motivated, self-motivated, because of the family. It was important to be good. They were going to back you, and it was important for you to not to miss. We had kids that would get on the players before the coaches would if they messed up. And that was, the word accountability, expectation. We had it.
You look at what these guys are able to do tonight. You look at how much talent is on the field. And I know that, like we said, you spent a lot of years coaching. What is special about this group of guys?
Well, they grew up together. Like when you have a guy like Shamar, and all the players know that he's going to come through for you, well, you fight a little bit harder. And then, all the weight room stuff and all the good things you have to do to get to this point is there. And when you have a leader like Coach Valdez does a great job of getting coaches and allowing them to coach. He reminds me of Rick Gailey a lot. He allows you to coach. He allows you to apply your trade and be good at it. And they pass it on to the players.
We appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and happy holidays to you and your family.
Same to you. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Guys, we'll send it back to you.
He is a legendary figure. He's been around the St. James program for a long time. St. James at a brand new high school now. It's about 4 or 5 years old. But I miss the old high school. Had the beautiful oak trees. The football field, from the broadcast point, you were right on top of the action at St. James. You could just feel the energy. And yeah, people, at St. James, just like at Jennings, but St. James, there's something a little bit more to it.
Well, I think a lot of it, Coach touched on it right there. I think a lot of it's community.
Yes.
I think a lot of it, it's different when kids grow up together and you get together in Pee Wee football and you get together in Little League baseball, and all of a sudden you get to high school.
Yeah. And everybody's parents works at a chemical plant or something.
Works at a chemical plant. They all know each other. And so, it's a big thing. It's a big thing.
for more than 80 years.
He's right about letting his coaches coach. Levante Davis is the defensive coordinator for St. James. You may remember him. He was the head coach at Scotlandville when Scotlandville came down here and played in the Division I state championship game and lost to Evangel. But Levante Davis had Kelvin Joseph and Levi Lewis, two guys that Levi Lewis is doing really good with the Raging Cajuns now, and we'll see what Kelvin Joseph does at Kentucky. But that just gives you an idea of the kind of type of staff. Levante Davis has been a guy that's kind of followed Coach Valdez to all the different spots that he's been at as a head coach.
Correction, a gain of 3.
The 31-yard line, they picked up the first down on 4th down.
Millions of athletes, thousands of games, one destination.
And again, Jennings down big, really not in a hurry to try to push it here.
Well, I think it's difficult. I think they don't want to make a mistake and turn the ball over on this end of the field and give up another score. But it's difficult out of this offense to really play catch-up. It's going to be
number 14.
It's the one thing that you can't do. And you'll see the same thing. I mean, Acadiana High runs the same offense.
Yep. Well, we've seen 2 games here, and obviously the spread offense has taken over all football. We even see a little bit of it in the NFL, but we've seen 3 primarily out of the 4 teams, 3 teams that really run it. And St. James is more of a run-pass option.
They're a spread.
They're spread. They'll line up in the spread, but they're not winging the ball all over the place, that's for sure.
Yeah, they run a lot of RPO. They give one of the things they like to do, St. James, is keep the ball in the hands of that quarterback.
Yeah.
Because he's a good decision maker. He's probably the best athlete on the field. And so that always helps. You always want them to have the ball.
Well, you'll see a similar attack by the Carr Cougars tomorrow. Same thing. They're going to let their quarterback make plays.
What to do is spread you out, get a lot of one-on-one matchups, and then make you make decisions on the corner of your defense.
Number 14, Jalen Lewis.
Take a look at some of the storylines in our games tomorrow.
Loss of 2, second down.
Well, you got in the 1A, Oak Grove in the title game for the 2nd straight year. First time for White Castle since 2010. And then for Warren Easton and Carr trying for a 4th straight state championship. The most consecutive state championships, that was John Curtis. They did that in the 2000s.
I'm looking for that Carr matchup. Should be an interesting one.
Jump ball incomplete to Palfrey. And then in the last game of the night, to wrap up the Prep Classic, the All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Prep Classic. Destran looking for their first state championship since 2008. Acadiana, I was just telling our stat guy up here, Tommy Cooper, rest up. Because that 5A championship game. Acadiana, I was just telling our stat guy up here, Tommy Cooper, rest up. Because that 5A championship game, me and him did the 5A championship game when Acadiana put 77 against Parkway, Brandon Harris-led Parkway team. 77 points. I mean, they were just, that Veer offense was just unstoppable that night. Last time Acadiana won a state championship game, I believe.
I mean, you've got to be disciplined when you play that Veer offense, because if not, you know, especially the way Acadiana runs it, it's explosive the way they run it.
And I've seen a bunch of Acadiana teams come and go. This might be offensively the best one they've ever had.
Wow. That's saying a lot.
Their quarterback can make some plays, and they got 2 running backs committed to Army. Dylan Monette, who's the all-time leading rusher at Acadiana, and then Lucky Brooks, who's also committed to Army. End-over-end punt. And it'll be down at the 29. We're going to take a break. We're halfway through the 4th quarter. On a big night in New Orleans. Well, there's Coach Rusty Phelps. Not the game that he was hoping for as he finally brought Jennings to the Dome. What this guy has done over his time, he's only had 2 seasons there where they did not get into the playoffs. I mean, that's just how good Jennings has been over the years. 10 trips to the quarterfinals, 3 trips to the semifinals. Pass downfield there, incomplete. They'll get to 200 wins next year, will Coach Phelps.
Number Number 13, Markel Bergeron's pass.
First coaching job. I've never heard of this town in Mississippi. You've been around. Belzoni, Mississippi. Have you ever heard of it?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. That's where his first coaching job was. I don't know if his...
How does he get from Belzoni, Mississippi to Jennings?
Well, he got a job at McNeese. He was an assistant coach there for 2 years, and then he got an assistant coaching job at Jennings. And there you see the lowest seed. Now, that Acadiana team in 2010, they had a forfeit like 4 games. So this is truly, oh, look at this run by LeBuff. LeBuff being dragged down at the 19-yard line.
This kid's remarkable.
Yes, he is. Future midshipman, 52-yard run.
Watch the acceleration when he gets around the corner. Right here, he just kind of turns it on and turning away from everybody.
Tackle made by number 12.
We've seen some ferocious stiff arms here tonight. At the 20-yard line. Towards the end zone. This is too easy. They're going to Smith. Did he catch it? How about that? Shamar Smith shows what he could do as a wide receiver.
Well,
what a way to cap a high school football career.
20 yards.
I mean, you know, he's one of the, he's their best athlete on the team.
Yeah.
Watch the concentration here to pull this ball in between. The defender's got his arms in the way. He just pulls it down anyway. What focus? And he doesn't do this every day.
No.
He's playing out of position.
I wonder if they'll review this. I don't think they will. I thought he had it, even though it was moving around a little bit as he hit the ground. Nope, they're not going to review it.
Let's see, what's the record? I mean, he's thrown for a pass, he's caught a pass, and he's run for a touchdown.
Oh, bad snap there, but they don't get the extra point. Shamar Smith on his way to being named the most outstanding player of this 3A state championship game. The quarterback out there for St. James was Markel Bergeron. We'll be back after this. A look from outside of Mercedes-Benz Superdome. To the left of the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, Cher is rocking the house right now at the Smoothie King Center. Well, look at this grab. How about this? Look at that. That's a... Maybe put that on the cover of the high school football All-State Sugar Bowl Prep Classic cover next year. Shamar Smith with the touchdown catch.
To the end zone for a touchback. Jennings first and 10.
Showing off the good hands and concentration.
Special things.
So we were talking about this until Sean LaBeouf broke up that long run. Broke off that long run, but the lowest seeds getting to the state championship game. And the lowest ever is Acadiana as the 27 seed. But again, that Acadiana team was forced to forfeit 4 games. And everybody knew going into that 5A playoffs that they were still the best team in 5A. They were it. And it was unfortunate for the number, I guess, 5 seed to face them in the first round. But Acadiana got there. But so Jennings, it's really a true, and the same with Warren Easton. Warren Easton had a forfeit a game this year, had another game canceled, so they weren't able to build any power points up because of that, while everybody else was playing 10 games. They played 9 and had a forfeit one. So this is a true Cinderella story, and the fact that they had to also win games by a missed extra point here, defending a 2-point conversion there. Just quite a run here for Coach Phelps and company.
Yeah, you know, but they made it.
Yeah, they made it. They made it. I know tonight will be one night that they might not want to remember, but the 4 previous games, they'll remember those nights for the rest of their lives.
again, we talked about it. This is a fairly young team.
Yes, it is.
It's got a lot of talent coming back.
Number 54, Brent Brown's number 10, Caleb Brown.
So it wouldn't surprise us if these teams if he gets back here next year.
No.
Third down at 7, 8, 23.
Looks like he's thrown that headset down once or twice, huh?
Yeah, he's had a couple of rounds with that headset.
Been a long season for the headset.
Long year. At least he took the headset. He took the same headset to the championship game.
Yes, he did.
Didn't leave him home.
Third down and 7. Etienne gets hit in the backfield. So fast getting up the field. Brad Baptiste on the tackle. This copyrighted telecast of the 2019 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Prep Classic may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of Cox Sports Television. Fourth down. Jennings still has the offense out there. They might just try to run the clock and then call timeout, maybe punt it away after that. I think that's what they're going to do.
It looks like it. They're not going to run a play.
Now stop the clock with about 3 minutes left. Right on the button, 3. The clock operator was able to sneak a couple seconds off.
Timeout. Jennings.
Clock operator's ready to go.
Long day for him, too.
He's got to do this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, before you transfer on that trophy, are you going to put one of those crowns on as well?
I don't know. I want something. I'm happy. It's over. Thank you.
Coach, go enjoy it. Congratulations. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
Well, there's your kicker. He's going to mess up that nice hair. Got the crown on.
I don't think anything can.
Nothing can ruin this day.
No. This is a great night for St. James, a proud community, great people. This was too long of a wait, as there is Trevor Etienne getting the most outstanding player, and he may do that again before his high school career is done at Jennings. This will be a very good Bulldogs team. And then let's see who the most outstanding player of the game for St. James, Shamar Smith, right? It's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Shamar Smith, he ran for a touchdown, threw for a touchdown, and caught a touchdown.
That's pretty good. That is a pretty good night.
2019 All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Class 3A Championship Trophy, St. James Wildcats.
There it is, finally. A new addition to the trophy case at St. James High School. That 1979 trophy was getting a little dusty.
A championship, 40 years in the making.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And as I mentioned it earlier, it's amazing to think that they went winless earlier in this decade, and here they go 15-0 to wrap up a state championship. Let's look at our Dudley DeBosier plays of the game, and it all involves number 3, Shamar Smith.
Why not? He stole the show. Here he is running for, gets outside, and now nobody's going to catch him. He runs for a touchdown. Then he decides, I can throw it as well. He gets his man open, perfect strike, and nobody's going to catch this guy.
Nope.
So Shamar's 2 out of 3. He's thrown, and can he catch it? Can he get the triple crown? There's the reception. There's the touchdown. So he got the triple crown in the biggest game of his high school career, and the last.
Yeah, he'll head to Texas San Antonio, and he'll play receiver for the Roadrunners once he gets to college.
He could play wherever he wants.
He could.
He's that good.
He certainly is, and this is a fantastic St. James team, certainly deserving of a 3A championship, no doubt about it. To go 15-0, that is so difficult to do, and they don't shy away from playing anybody. Again, they beat Desterham this season, a Class 5A team that is in the state championship game in 5A. Let's send it onto the field. One more interview. We hear from Shamar Smith.
Shamar, congratulations. Watching you play is incredible. You are just an outstanding athlete. For everyone to sit here and witness tonight what your team was able to do and make history, how does it feel?
I mean, it's a blessing, man. We're the first team to do it in St. James history, 15-0. I take my hats off to my teammates. I love them. I love all of my coaches, too.
Obviously, you all came in with a competitive spirit, and you never quit. Even when you had the biggest lead of the night, you still played with so much heart, so much determination. What does that say about this group of guys?
Man, this team have a big head, you know. It's a great team win. I'm just trying to enjoy it.
You see a guy like Teddy Bridgewater come and make it a cameo appearance on the sideline for you guys. Obviously, I'm sure you look up to a guy like him. What does it mean to have his presence here tonight?
Oh, it's a blessing, you know. That means, like, you know, he's supporting the high school association in Louisiana.
Your best game ever. How does it feel to have a personal performance?
Oh, it's a blessing, you know. I left my senior season with a bang, you know, and I showed Louisiana what I could do.
Go enjoy this one. Get your hands on that trophy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll send it back to you.
Thanks a lot, Carly. It is St. James's time as they win the Class 3A state championship. Well, thanks for joining us. We're going to do it all over again tomorrow, starting at noon, with the Class 1A football championship game between the Oak Grove Tigers and the White Castle Bulldogs. For everyone involved in tonight's broadcast, John Salter, our producer, Walter Volpatti, our director, Jeff Brenner, the executive producer of Cox Sports Television, Carly McCord, Greg Bowser, and the